Speaking of stupidity in the media, again, just quick final note on the Laura Ingraham boycott tactic here. The same media that's promoting that tactic is vulnerable to that tactic should they step out of line in any particular way. You're living in a very dangerous era for the future of the media when audiences are being pushed to boycott particular outlets because of the viewpoints of those outlets. Barring full-on Nazis or full-on racists, I think that we all ought to take a step back and just say, listen, people ought to be able to watch what they want to watch. You should be able to, even if you want to watch Nazi crap, you should be able to watch it. I just won't patronize your advertisers. But Laura Ingraham is not a Nazi. And the attempt to lump all political speech into one bag that I don't like it, therefore it's Nazi-esque, is really quite ridiculous. Okay, speaking of quite ridiculous, I just had to comment on this Jezebel tweet. So Jezebel is a feminist outlet, and a couple of days ago, there was a tweet that came out from Planned Parenthood in some podunk town in which Planned Parenthood tweeted, "We need a Disney princess who is transgender. We need a Disney princess who has had an abortion." Okay, and I said, well, what we really need is a Disney princess who uses her royal authority to defund Planned Parenthood. Let's start with that. But Jezebel has to defend that, of course, because we do need, you know what we need? We need to indoctrinate children about abortion and transgenderism and same-sex marriage. We need a Disney princess who's a lesbian. Right? This is the new push, by the way, for Ilsa in Frozen, is that in the sequel, they should give Ilsa a girlfriend. Because there's nothing better than teaching 3-year-old children who like the movie Frozen because they like Olaf, that lesbianism is on equal moral par and societal value with heterosexuality. Yeah, it's perfect, because kids at 3 should know all about sex. That's really important. So Jezebel tweeted something out that was even stupider yesterday. They tweeted out, statistically, at least 2 Disney princesses have had abortions. Okay, and the reason that Jezebel says this, of course, is because they say that statistically speaking, a certain percentage of people in the United States, a certain percentage of women have had abortions, and that means that a certain percentage of Disney princesses, by extension, must have had abortions. Here's what the piece says. They said, we need many kinds of Disney princesses, according to an extremely fun meme whooshing around the net. We need a Disney princess who jewels. I don't even know what that is. We need a Disney princess who is falling asleep, calling a cab, having a smoke, taking a drag. We need a Disney princess with chronic UTIs. We also, according to Planned Parenthood affiliate, need a Disney princess who has gotten an abortion. Statistically, like 2.5 already have. Right, so then they say, according to the Guttmacher Institute, 23.7% of women in the United States will have had an abortion by age 45. According to the official Disney Princess website, there are 11 official Disney princesses: Belle, Rapunzel, Ariel, Tiana, Snow White, Cinderella, Aurora, Merida, Pocahontas, Jasmine, and Mulan. That means statistically around 2.5 of these strong women have gotten abortions and aren't telling you about it because of a national culture of shame and misogyny. Let me just say something to Planned Parenthood and Jezebel. You people are so unbelievably dumb. This is not how statistics work. Okay, if 23.7% of women in the United States will have had an abortion by age 45, a number that I think is probably very high, but let's say that that's true. If that number is true, that still would not suggest that Disney princesses, were they real people and not fictional characters, would have had abortions. Okay, first of all, they're fake. I know I have to keep emphasizing this for folks on the left. Certain things are real. Certain things are pretend. Certain things that are pretend have certain cultural significance. It's why we talked about Roseanne, because people were saying the cultural significance of Roseanne is something. It's why we talked about Black Panther. People saying Black Panther had cultural significance. Okay, fair enough. But you want to argue that Disney princesses have had abortions. Disney princesses don't exist in real life. They're not real people. And even if they did exist in real life, 2.5 of them, two of them would not have had abortions. Because statistically speaking, Disney princesses are incredibly wealthy. Many of them lived hundreds of years ago in a different universe. So that's like saying that 23.7% of women in the U.S. will have had an abortion. That means that in our office, there are probably 10 women who work in our office, in this office. That means that 2 of them have had an abortion. That's not how statistics work, gang. That's like saying, it is the equivalent of saying that every family in America has an average of 2.4 children. That means that every family in America has 2 whole children and a 0.4 of a child. Statistically, an average does not mean that each individual is a member of the average. So stupid. But again, stupid rules the day. Okay, so now I want to get into some tech news. So the reason I'm going to get into tech news is because there's a lot going on this score. Tech stocks have been dumping. I mean, they've really been dropping pretty precipitously in the last few days. A lot of that is specifically because of all of the hubbub surrounding Facebook and social media, which I'm going to get to in just a second. According to Reuters, fund managers have begun to ditch so-called FANG stocks that powered the U.S. stock market to record highs in January and are slowly rotating into commodity-related shares and other value stocks, which typically outperform in late-cycle recoveries. Portfolio managers holding shares of Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google parent Alphabet Inc., that's Google, say they are increasingly concerned that the data scandal that has sent shares of Facebook down nearly 15% to date year to date will spill over into all of FANG stocks, imperiling the broad market's momentum at a time when there are no clear companies or sectors to take their place. On Tuesday, an index which tracks the FANG stocks, along with 6 other mega-cap technology stocks, tumbled 6.3%, the biggest decline since September 2014. Google was slightly positive. Amazon dropped 4%. Netflix fell 5%. A portfolio manager said, there are legitimate concerns over the business models of these companies, and I expect that they will be ironed out in legislation. So this, of course, is talking specifically about Facebook. So I want to talk about a couple of things that are great about technology, and then I want to talk about a thing that is very bad about the future of technology in the United States, particularly with regard to the distribution of our news. So we begin with President Trump ripping on Amazon today. So President Trump decided to go after Amazon today. Amazon has been his bugaboo for a couple of reasons. One is because it's owned by Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos also owns the Washington Post. The Washington Post has not been friendly to Trump. Therefore, Trump says the Amazon Washington Post. His suggestion is that Amazon uses its profits to subsidize the Washington Post. There is no statistical truth to this. This is something that is made up in Trump's mind. It is just not true. It's not factually true. Now, you may think Jeff Bezos is a schmuck. That's fine. But Amazon is a phenomenal company. Amazon is the best company in America. Amazon is just unbelievable. It's running other companies out of business, not because it's evil and brutal, but because they are incredibly good at what they do. You never have to worry about what to remember for the grocery store. You just order stuff. I use Amazon nearly every day. I believe I was one of their first 1,000 Prime users because it started off as a used book company, and so I used to buy used books from there all the time. I still do. Amazon is just a phenomenal company. So Trump decides to rip them on the web. So here's what he says. He says, I have stated my concerns with Amazon long before the election. Unlike others, they pay little or no taxes to state and local governments, use our postal system as their delivery boy, causing tremendous loss to the U.S., and are putting many thousands of retailers out of business. Okay, so Amazon's shares were up about 2% before the president's tweet, and then it fell about 2.6% after the market opened. I'm sure it will recover pretty quickly. Okay, this is a really stupid tweet. And just be frank about this. This is economically illiterate. First of all, Amazon does pay sales tax in states that require it to pay sales tax. So in California, I pay a sales tax on my Amazon products. I wish I didn't. Okay, but states do require that if you buy a product in California from Amazon, that you are going to pay the sales tax that is equivalent to what you would pay at the store. So I pay a sales tax on products that are shipped to me in California. And I'm not sure why Trump is complaining about Amazon using the postal system. You know what is keeping the postal system existent? Amazon. No one uses the post office anymore because everyone uses email. Okay, bulk mail has gone down. When people send packages and they want to make sure that it gets there, they use FedEx. So Amazon is using the post office because the post office is subsidized and because the post office is cheap. And it is because they are doing that the post office has any business at all. In fact, little known fact about Amazon. Have you ever gotten an Amazon package where it's like you ordered a thing of toothpaste and it comes in a box that's like half the size of your house? And you're always wondering why is it that the box is totally out of proportion to the item that is inside the box? That is because Amazon has come up with such a science of this thing that when they deliver stuff to you, they actually have slotted every box into the truck in the most efficient possible way. So they know that they need to fill up every piece of space in the truck so that the things aren't bouncing around back there. So they will ship you things with weird sized boxes because it is most efficient to ship it that way. Several states, according to CNBC, say that the online retailers should have to collect sales tax even in those states where companies don't have a physical presence. The Supreme Court ruled in 1992 that states couldn't collect sales taxes gathered by mail-order catalog companies unless the firms had a physical presence in the state. Obviously, Amazon does collect sales. I mean, listen to this. Amazon collects sales tax from consumers in 45 states and the District of Columbia. So what is Trump even talking about here? What is he even talking about here? Okay, there are certain economists who say that if Amazon started to, I mean, the truth is what Amazon is eventually going to do here is they are just going to substitute their own shipping for the post office, and the post office will have no business. So the fact that Amazon is using the post office right now is really a temporary measure. People think that Amazon is going to become the largest single shipper in the United States and become a shipping company, basically. So Axios is reporting that Trump wants to go after Amazon. It's really dumb. According to this report from Axios, people have explained to them that the post office that Trump's view of the post office is not even accurate. The U.S. Postal Service is not owned or operated by the government. It's an establishment of the executive branch, so it's controlled by presidential appointees and acts as a government agencies. And again, Amazon's business is the only thing keeping the post office afloat. So again, Amazon is a great piece of technology. Why are we attacking that? I'm going to tell you another great piece of technology that people are ignoring, and it's being attacked by leftists and some people who don't understand.